I'm your host Universitas, and today we're diving into some big questions and stigmas around Gen Z. I think you've probably heard and know about the stigmas that Gen Z is lazy and they're glued into their screens or gadgets and so on, and they don't read anymore. But it sounds familiar, right? So, well, today we're setting the record straight. But are these stigma fair? And honestly, where do they even come from? And that's what we're here to explore today. So let's break down the stereotypes, and to dive into this, here is our special guest, Muhammad Raffi. Hello, Raffi.
Yeah.
Okay. So how's life, Raffi?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. It couldn't be better if I not here. You know, I'm pleased to be here. I'm really excited to share my thoughts with you guys and especially with you too.
Good to hear that, because yeah, that's awesome. I know that you will love about our topic today. So yeah. Alright everyone, Muhammad Raffi, thanks for joining us today. So Raffi is a last year undergraduate student of English Language Education in Universitas Negeri Malang, and of course he is a Gen Z, and he's actively engaged in Gen Z issues and educational scope. So that's why he sits here to talk about Gen Z issues and stigmas with us in some minutes forward. Well, Raffi, you're a last student semester, right?
Yeah. I'm at my 7th semester and I'm working on my thesis right now. You have probably heard about my experience being reading somewhere. Yeah,
so what you have been up to?
Yeah, I'm really active in the community since I was in the first semester. Up until now, I was been in the Gemapedia, it's like a teacher volunteering.
I see.
And previous semester, I was in the MSCP program by Ministry of Education, especially in the content writer marketing intern in InfoSci.
Wow, that's cool. You're an active student. You're busy.
Yeah, not quite.
All right.
That.
Alright everyone, before we get intense to our first core, I'd love to know what's your first thought when you hear or listen people who talk about Gen Z as lazy or unfocused people, because mostly Gen Z are students nowadays. So does it make you laugh, or do you feel it's just them who disintegrated in the real world?
Oh yeah. First of all, let's break down what is Gen Z first. Yeah, Gen Z is the human or person who was born in 1981 to the 2012.
Yes.
All right. So that's because of that era, many technologies are heavy and improve so fast. That's why people might call it like they are so lazy, because of they are supported by the technology. When they got problem, they get issue, they just look for the internet and then got the answers, just file like that. That's what the older generation think about Gen Z. But in fact, there are more factors that supported why they are thinking that Gen Z is much more ideal than them. I think let's break down that factors in words.
Yeah, I see. I completely agree, because actually it's easy to label generation based on outdated stereotypes, right? So, but when you look deeper, you know the fact that Gen Z is not as simple as that. They can give stigma, right? Gen Z is lazy and so on.
Of course there are so many factors.
They just adopt the new word, right? Alright, so the first up, let's tackle the biggest common belief out there. So you mentioned about idle, and now there's a common perception that Gen Z is idle or lazy when it comes to studying, or we can call it like Gen Z is avoiding work or tasks and assignments, because actually students usually avoid their works and assignments, right? So what's your thought about this? Is it accurate, and where does this perception come from?
Yeah, like we mentioned before, every student in every single era, for each single generation, would like to avoid works, like so much burden works. But the way they want to solve it is much more different rather than this generation, right? You might probably thinking that Generation Z is much more idle, but in fact they are much more creative and efficient at sorting through the complex question. They might follow the modern era, which was helped by the AI or the internet. Like many sources in internet, like Google, you can search for articles and websites, and then you got You can easily answer all of the questions like that. But the studying is a process of gaining knowledge from everywhere and anywhere, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be in a books like a textbook, for example.
That's right.
Yeah, you do have an online learning nowadays. You do have YouTube that you can look for. You might probably thinking of physics, chemistry, or English learning by just looking at the channel YouTube or just like Instagram, who post the insightful story or learning. Yeah, it's much more attractive and
Yeah.
engaging than.
Yeah, I completely agree. So you said that I think it's not that Gen Z students are avoiding work, not avoiding work or tasks. They just reshaping what meaningful work.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they have to
They just want to have the efficient way to do it.
That's right.
I get it. So you mentioned about AI. So it is a common topic that usually people debate about. So
Yeah, I agree to that.
it's related to the technology right now because like education right now has a developmental advancement about technology, right? So we've seen AI emerge as an incredible tool for education, and with people using like ChatGPT, YouTube that you mentioned before, and interactive online courses. So, but does that mean Gen Z values AI over books? Because yeah, books are our resources, right? For the first resources. So I think not really, because it's more about convenience, speed, and access. So, what's your thought about this?
Yeah, you mentioned it true. I mean, AI is a tools, right? It's a tools who students want to get knowledge from. It doesn't have to be a manual books like I told you before. You see, AI now much more simpler and efficient. You can get every single answer there. I mean, okay, AI maybe has sort of lags, like maybe it's not too accurate, but that's the challenge.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to encounter it. You know, you don't have to label Gen Z as an idol or is a lazy person who are not willing to look for in the books. No, they're not. They're just using AI as a tool. So when it comes to the manual books text, they don't get the real answer or real explanation about the something, or maybe they don't have a search enough researchers to get the answer with, so they choose the AI one.
I see. Yeah, I get it. So I think there should be a balance between AI and books when we use the AI and for our resources, because if we can keep the balance, I think that's we are in a positive direction to use it. So we have to choose which one is the better way. Yeah. Okay, so if it's about the technology, I think it's still related to our educational skill, which is in the classroom. In the classroom, usually students are boring when they have classes and their lecture only giving the lecture-based systems and teacher-centered like that. So what do you think? So many people believe that Gen Z gets bored easily because of that.
Yeah, in terms of how our schools or how our government arranging the learning environment in a class, this really matters the perception or the label that the older generation would like to label Generation Z as one. You know, you see, like Generation Z is way more complex and simple and efficient, in which they are used to attach with this gadget, the social media, you know, the Google one. If the classroom doesn't follow or aligns with that aspect, they might get bored easily in the class because they expect something interesting and engaging more, right? So that's why, yeah, the older traditional classroom doesn't have any this support. You know, our Generation Z students might expect that the class is much more way engaging by implementing some some aspect like online learning, online learning based online games. Maybe they get interesting more rather than just sitting in the chair and listening the monotonous preaching by the teacher. I think that's much way more important. So we have to get adjusted. You know.
Yeah, I get it. So it's about the technology and technology again. So
Yeah.
I think it's not about that Gen Z gets bored easily, but I think they're ready for new way of learning, because it's about the developmental of education again right now. There's advancement of developmental education and the new regulation from the government and so on. So the sooner education should align with that, the better off everyone will be. So now we will talk about the mismatch of degree and job profession. Yeah, nowadays we've heard that there is an example of a story like a chemistry major student ending up in marketing, or English graduate students working in the technology field. So the job market has changed drastically. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think job market is so wild. They often want the human researchers from every single skills. Maybe it's a new skills that doesn't have any curriculum in our school. Maybe it's not been taught in school. That's why Generation Z maybe wants to look for the another skills outside the classroom. Because of the skills that outside the classroom is much more important. Every single company on this era wants them to be like that, to have that new skills. For example, like copywriting and content writing, they don't have it in the classroom, or probably in the senior high school, or even in the junior high school one. It's the challenge that Gen Z has to face. Because of the Gen Z comes with the happy technology environment. It's about the environment who they can get bored easily. They can because of the expecting some immediate execution, and the environment doesn't support it. So I think Gen Z has to be more creative in finding some way. Doesn't have to be related to the really traditional rules against the classroom, like the government, and of course the job market. That's the Gen Z's duties.
Oh yeah, I get it. So I think it's about the adaptation again, adaptability, because it's essential when it's not about the matching degree and profession, but it's just more about meeting the halfway between both choices of taking the job profession that is to their major or not.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so I think we're heading to the next one, which is our last question. It's about the EPI, English Proficiency Index score. So the EPI score is reportedly low for many countries' Gen Z population. So why is it so low? Especially in Indonesia, where many tourists come to visit. Do you think it's reflect Gen Z's abilities, or is it more about the way English is taught?
Yeah, I think EPI, you have to stands for EPI is English Proficiency Index. It's made by the English first. They calculated every year about the competency in achieving English skills, mostly taken by the students and the teacher and the professionals. As probably for your information, everyone, Indonesia in the position of 79 of the 113 of the countries who get the below score average English.
Very low.
Yeah, that's because of when we are born, we born in the technological, but for some areas they don't have these opportunities. They might follow the dialect language. It's also the second language, but it's not the international languages. Different from Singapore and Malaysia, who implemented second language English as their second language before their national languages. That's why we are so low and we are lagging behind comparing to this country, which was our neighbors. And also there's another problem like the structure and grammar that been taught in our elementary or secondary school, like senior high school. They our teacher mostly taught us about the structure and grammar, and the other one is about the the classical text rules that is not really relevant into this real world. Doesn't talk about the like practical life, about the how to speak with the strangers, how to speak in a professional situation. They didn't teach us about that.
I get a point. So I see that like it's less about lack of ability and more about finding ways to make English feel useful and relevant for students outside the classroom, not only the classroom, and that's the key to boost proficiency. So there you have it. That's all. So thank you for joining us today, and hopefully we've shed some light on why these stigmas might be unfair or simply outdated. So it's clear that Gen Z is a generation full of potential, creativity, and adaptability. So they may face unique challenges, but they're also finding innovative ways to navigate them. So let's continue to support and understand their journey as they shape the future. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like and share. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, these stigmas only stick if you let them. Gen Z Podcast, where Gen Z can grow and success. Goodbye.
Bye.